Yep, please proceed.
So I'm here again today to talk about TriMet Fair Inspection. I was here last month.
Yes.
Kind of gave a brief account. Here to provide a little more detail. Someone approached me afterwards, asked for my email address, said that they would get in contact with me. My assumption was that they were with TriMet's staff. So I haven't heard back from anyone, and I haven't really received a response or answer to my questions related to this matter in, like I said, 3 years. So just to kind of quickly summarize for anyone who hasn't or is not familiar with the testimony I provided last month. So I exited train with one other individual at the Yamhill platform in 2014. Two fair inspectors, James Takey and John Coryell, approached us at the platform to inspect fair. So the outcome of this situation is the reason that I'm here, and the outcome of this situation is the reason that I've tried to send emails to Joe Esmonde, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Close enough. Okay.
Fair enough. As well as Mr. Warner. When I actually look at my email correspondence going back to 2014, you actually responded at one point, but didn't really answer the questions that I'm asking.
Probably because I
Again,
didn't
that's
know the facts. That's
the reason
correct.
I'm here. So to provide a little more detail, the individual next to me, so myself, this other individual, interacting with two separate fair inspectors. The individual next to me, he interacted with John Coryell. And what I observed is what you actually sent me by email, which I believe is what's referred to as Standard Operating Procedure of 313. Okay, and as I read it on TriMet's website, he followed that, step by step. Okay, so he asked a series of questions about the situation, wanted to know why. He was pretty engaging. I think, generally speaking, had a really good demeanor overall interaction with this individual. He contacted dispatch to check and see if this individual had any prior warnings or citations issued. And ultimately, he just, once he confirmed that, he issued a warning to Mr. Hunter, which is the individual standing next to me. And again, he followed that procedure as it's written. The individual that I interacted with is James Takey. He asked me one question, which is the same question that John Coryell began with the other individual. Do you have fair? My response was no, as was the other individual. He didn't do any of those steps that John Coryell did in that process, none whatsoever. Okay. I tried to explain the situation at first, and when he didn't respond, I just stopped. Right. He didn't ask any questions. He did not contact dispatch, and to my recollection, he didn't even make eye contact. I mean, it was just like, it was very mechanical in that sense. And he immediately issued a citation. Like I said, there was no question whatsoever. So my question is, who here, members of the board, can tell me why I was treated so differently in this situation? There are a couple of things that I'd like to go through on here as well, including a comment that you made towards the end of my testimony last month, which was, I felt like you may have interpreted my concern as being about a criminal record. As I'm sure most of you know, TriMet fair violation is not criminal. And it's not a misdemeanor either, which I'm still unclear as to what it is or what it looks like or how that works when it goes to Multnomah Circuit Court, but it's this kind of very gray area. So that's not my concern.
I understand.
Yeah, my concern is that there, at least is this individual and maybe other individuals who are practicing a very different decision-making process that deviates from this standard operating procedure a lot. It's very, very different. And why other individuals seem to be following it. And there doesn't seem to be any recourse, communication, or way to address it in Multnomah Circuit Court. And I think that's a problem. It's a serious problem when it involves individuals paying $175 or more for a fair violation, even if they haven't had any warnings or citations issued. And again, I know this may be redundant if you recall my testimony from last month, but I brought a document from the legal department at TriMet. Kimberly Akimoto provided that I have no warnings or citations whatsoever, none. And despite that, as well as, and I brought some of these if you guys would like to look at them, this is just a portion of day, week, and month-long passes that I have purchased since 2012, actually. This is just a portion. I mean, I can show you my Metro card that I use when I go to New York. I use public transit, and I like it. I think it works. And it works well here. But this, and what occurred, is not working, and it's an unfair practice, in my opinion. And no one yet has answered that question as to why I was treated differently, or maybe other individuals are treated differently, and what that decision-making process looks like if it's not that standard operating procedure.